hey. I was just getting ready to wash up and go out. Yeah, it's almost 6 o'clock. 7. It is 7. I was just watching ForaTV, and I watch them a lot because they're very relevant. And so I just I was watching what makes bloggers so special, and I watched it to the full end. And he said a lot of things, and one of the interesting things that he said was forgive them. Bloggers just speak their mind, and the day that they get sued, all of this dirty game will stop. And I disagree with him because it's like television, it's like or any other medium. I killed the frog. Is is that you know television has an agenda, and they put out a certain agenda, and they paint it and color it just the way they want you to see it. And whether you decide to buy it, listen to it, is your thing. Now, television is a far more powerful medium than blog. And so anybody should be able to say anything they want, and they have. But it's up to you whether you want to listen to it or not. And so he talked a lot about the homosexuals and how can you say all and anti-Semitics, and how can you say something anti-Semitic without being an anti-Semitist, or how can you say something that has all the traits of homophobia without being homophobic? But he did acknowledge the fact that there are people who are not hateful, who are not homophobic, who are not racist, but live very much under the I can't say tyranny, but under the oppression of racism, but are not racist. So again, you have a personal choice of the heart. That's whether you have to choose whether you are hateful, and the only one who can judge that is oneself. My pastor says that too. You have to be careful when you're dealing with these different people and are so close to this line of that could be hatred and not have hatred. You have to check that at your own heart. It's just like walking in somebody else's house and with an attitude, and it's their house. They live here, and you got an attitude with them, and you walk in their house with an attitude, or like bringing your problems on the job. You check your problems at the door. If you have if you have bitterness in your heart towards a certain people, it's best that you not even deal with it. If you're trying to be constructive, if you're trying to express your point, and if you're trying to say these things, and you have legitimate concern, and that I like about what he said. He says that you have to prove that you're not homophobic, that you're not anti-Semitic, that you're not racist, in order to say, or as he said, peddling anti-Semitic probes without being anti-Semitic. Now, and he says that, when you get on the blog, you just say it and just say, it entered the blogosphere, and you just said it, you spoke too quickly, you said, and as if that just erases it. And I agree with him, it doesn't. But to hold people accountable for everything they say while they're talking, especially if they're not in a political power or position to have influence, or where that kind of attitude will be absolutely contradictory to the authority and the position that they are placed in to handle those things freely without those kind of prejudgments and things of that sort, then it should have no effect. Meaning, if I could talk about the president all I want, it's like the guy who, the relevancy of the things that you're saying. How much political power? I am one vote. I am one vote. And if I can express why I vote, all I want. But if I'm the presidency, and this is my point, is like, I'm not gonna if I'm not gonna do it. That's not a good example. But if I'm not in a position of power, that my personal attitudes towards something is bad, like Mel Gibson. I hate to bring him up, and I'm not holding it against him, because if you check his background, there might be something in it. He's Irish, whatever, Catholic, probably got beat a lot when he was a little kid. And so the fact that he made Passion of Christ and then was caught drunk and got drunk. I hate to talk about the Irish on St. Patty's Day or the day after, but was caught drunk and then spew out all these anti-Semitic views. And then when you looked at the movie, you see how the Jewish just tortured, Christ. And I actually didn't like that movie. I would not see it. I saw it a few times when I was at the theater, but I would not buy it or see it because I don't like that much torture and stuff. I don't think that it fully got across the point of Christ, the Passion of Christ, the Christ story. I don't think it, and I think that kind of hatred that he had may have helped in that situation. Now, I'm sure he has dealt with it. And again, I'm sure it's part of his background. And just like, like the situation with Michael Vick, I hate to call names, after you see his background, after you understand his background, you can understand how that happened. You can comprehend it makes sense then, so but it still happened, and that situation was a cruel situation. Bam. But again, I have sympathy. Like even Lil Wayne, I didn't really like him that much, but after I saw his video VH one thing, I understood how the circumstances in his life caused him to be the kind of rapper and the kind of lifestyle and whatever that he is. And I understand it. So I can comprehend it and I can have compassion for it. So let me just flip that around just right quickly. I can understand anybody who gets molested and becomes a homosexual. I know girls who have told me their aunt turned them out, and they were beautiful women, beautiful. I can understand them being homosexual. I can understand anybody having a chemical imbalance. There are people born with both organs, with male and female. There's got to be some kind of mix-up in their genome code. I can understand if they have homosexual tendencies to that. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is this. Oh, it's cool. It's the trend. It's the in thing. It's the unique thing. It's a nice new trend identifier. It's experimental. It's explore your senses. It's I got my heart broken and or no. I even know I've had experience. I know women that have gotten raped and have turned to homosexuality because they could not have sex with a man. They're terrified of men after that. I know them. And I know women who have gotten raped and wanted to be with a man and couldn't be with a man because they were terrified. They still had a natural desire. That decision of whether they choose to do it because of that traumatic experience is an internal working of that person. And so I don't judge any of those kind of. There are understandable situations, okay. But just looking at homosexuality for the thing that it is, the activity that it is. It does not logically warrant the things. I was like, okay, you chose to do that, but why should knowing that the lifestyle you are is completely has no fertility. If you never have sex with a man, then how can you ever have a child unless you do all these things, all these mathematical, chemical, artificial insemination, in vitro, in venous, supplementary things. So it's a supplement. All of those things are supplementary things that they're asking the government to sponsor and to legitimize and legalize. The fact is that homosexuality is not a natural, normal way of life. It doesn't even create life. So it's nothing emotional about that. Now if you get emotional about that, then I so now that is compartmentalizing your emotion, and some people don't have that ability. I do. Okay, I can. So a girlfriend called me up the other day. She mad because of some situation that happened on her job, but not really looking at what the problem is. She just responding to it emotionally. So she reacts to me emotionally and hangs up on me when I try to explain to her the problem, the logistical problem. She reacts emotional. When homosexuals get and start hating me and all of that stuff, because of my logistical breakdown of the factual problems with this, then that's their bigotry. That's their hatred. I do not hate them. There are certain things that are quite understandable, but this whole jump on the bandwagon kind of, let's just make it a normal lifestyle, and then have to have to manipulate, have to mislead, miseducate people into it being something that is not, which is equal to heterosexuality. That's where I have the problem. It is not logistically legal. Don't have kids, can't make kids, make your bed, lie in it. Deal with your own consequences. And that's the whole problem as far as any kind of Christianity, is people that don't, Christians will at least say, well, it's wrong, I still got to deal with the consequences. That's my personal tip. That's my thing. Okay, I know I did wrong, but, I'm going to get it for it. I know it, but I did it anyway. But that doesn't mean because I want to do wrong, everybody should appease me. That's like saying, oh, I'm blind. I have so little joys in life. Let me be an alcoholic. Let me drink myself. That's okay if you want to do that, but don't ask me to help you do it. God bless you all. Love you all.